Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that really separates the good from the truly great. We're talking about the artist's secret to mastery.
So let's just get right into it. We tend to look at geniuses like they're some kind of different species, you know? But what if their path to greatness is, well, more down to earth than we think? How do they really pull it off?
Just think about a sculptor, maybe someone like Michelangelo. He didn't just tap a block of marble and poof, out comes the statue, David. No way. The real genius was in how well he knew his simple tools, the chisel, the mallet. He understood them so deeply they were like an extension of his own hands. So the secret isn't some big fancy idea, it's being a master of the basics.
And for a perfect, maybe surprising example of this, let's talk about Picasso. You know, we all think of his wild, abstract, groundbreaking art. But if you could go back in time and peek into his old-school notebooks, I'm talking regular classes, not art school, you'd find something pretty wild.
Yeah, check this out. Hidden in the margins, probably just doodles from some boring lecture, are these little masterpieces. You've got sketches of his professor, drawings of his own hand, and they're all technically perfect. The perspective, the lines, the shading, it's all there. He was just constantly, obsessively practicing the fundamentals, even when nobody was watching.
And that's the whole point, right? Picasso could only break all the rules because he had mastered every single one of them first. He was a craftsman, a skilled artisan, before he became this revolutionary artist. He learned how to use the chisel perfectly before he decided to completely reinvent what sculpture could be.
So, what does any of this have to do with you? Well, let's take this idea and turn it toward your own goals. Let's talk about your tools and your craft.
Okay, let's make this real for a second. Whatever it is you want to get great at, math, coding, music, you name it, that's your block of marble. It's just sitting there, full of potential. But to shape it, you need tools. And your study methods, the specific things you actually do to learn, those are your chisels. And the better you get with those chisels, the more amazing your masterpiece is going to be.
All right, this next part it's huge. We've got to break down a distinction that might just change the whole game for you. It's the difference between having a strategy and having a technique.
Just look at this. On the left, you've got strategies. They're these big, fuzzy goals. Study harder. Sounds great, but what does that actually mean? What are you supposed to do? Now look at the right side. These are techniques. They're specific, concrete things you can do. You can actually practice explaining something to a friend. You can sit down and solve 5 problems and then look at your mistakes. A technique is a real action. It's a chisel.
And here's the bottom line. You're going to get a lot further by actually practicing and improving your techniques than you ever will by just thinking about your big picture strategy. Focusing on sharpening your chisels, those specific actions, that's the real path to getting better.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's start building that toolbox. I want to give you a couple of really powerful, concrete techniques you can start using, like, today.
The first one is, well, it's kind of a mindset shift, but it's a total game changer. It's called building a culture of error. Basically, it means you stop treating mistakes like they're failures. Instead, every single error is a gift. It's like a big flashing arrow that points directly to what you don't know yet.
And you can see the difference right here. With a fixed mindset, you get something wrong and you get frustrated. You think, I'm just bad at this. But with a growth mindset, that wrong answer makes you curious. You ask, okay, why did I get that wrong? You start hunting for the reason, for the gap in your understanding so you can fix it for good. That's real learning.
All right, let's talk about another classic problem. You finish a chapter, you watch a video, and you ask yourself this question. Do I get it? What's the problem here? The problem is that your brain is a bit of a people pleaser. It's hardwired to just say, yep, got it, because that feels good. It's called self-reporting, and honestly, it's not very reliable. So you can't trust that feeling. You've got to test it. You have to prove it to yourself.
And here's a super simple, super powerful technique for that. 1. Learn something. 2, and this is the most important part, close the book, put away the notes, hide the screen. 3. Now try to explain that concept out loud like you're teaching it to someone who knows nothing about it. Use simple words. And 4, open the source back up and check your work. Where were you fuzzy? What did you forget? This forces your brain to actually pull the information out, which is one of the best ways to make it stick.
So, we've covered a lot. We've talked about artists and artisans, we've separated vague strategies from real techniques, and we've added a couple of new tools to your belt. Now, it's time to start sculpting.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this sounds like a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be. This is basically the 80-20 rule. The idea is that a lot of the time, about 20% of your effort leads to 80% of your results. So the key isn't to change everything all at once. It's about finding those few key techniques, those powerhouse chisels, that will give you the biggest bang for your buck.
Seriously, trying to do everything at once is a surefire way to get overwhelmed and do nothing. Lasting change comes from small, consistent steps. So forget about a massive overhaul of your entire system. Just pick one tool, one new chisel. Get good with it. See what happens. Then, when you're ready, you can add another.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one for you. You're the one holding the tools. You've got that block of marble sitting right in front of you. So thinking about what we've talked about, embracing mistakes, testing yourself, whatever it might be, what's the first tool you're going to pick up and add to your toolbox? That's what I want you to think about. Thanks for tuning in.